Hi, this is Katie. So, okay. First of all, I want to thank you guys so much for like the overwhelmingly positive response I got on my video from Tuesday. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, I'll put it up here in the cards, the link to that video. And I was nervous to post it because there's a lot of trolls on the internet and there's a lot of people who are judgy. And so I was just a little bit nervous to post it, but it just got such an amazing, supportive response. I did that video because I wanted to like spread awareness and I wanted to show other people that they're not alone. But then kind of as like a side effect of that, it made me realize that I'm not alone. Like that's not why I did it, but it was just kind of like an extra thing that happened. And it was just really cool to see all of that support. And so this video, I'm gonna talk more about this subject. Like I said, if you didn't watch the other video, I'd watch that one first. You don't have to, but if you watch that one first, you'll probably understand this one a little bit better. So in Tuesday's video, I talked about a trauma that I had as a child. And I just kind of mentioned that I had a trauma. And in today's video, I wanted to tell you guys what that was. And this is just gonna be another hard video. So, okay, so let me just like tell you guys what happened. Actually, wait a minute. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be the title of this video. So you guys already know. You already know. When I was 13, my house went on fire. And long story short, I was left in the fire a little bit too long. And it messed with my brain. So let me tell you guys like the story. So I was 13, I was in 8th grade, but it was the end of June, and on Long Island, school is from like early September to late June. And so classes just ended, and I think we finished finals. Maybe we didn't have finals, but we had regences. And if you're from New York, you know what a regents is. It's just essentially a state test that you take, and your first one's usually 9th grade. But I was in accelerated math, so I took my first regents in 8th grade. And it was on June 20th of the year 2000. And it was about 9 o'clock in the morning or so. My regents was at noon. And there was all this stuff where like my friend was gonna drive me, so then I was gonna tell my grandpa he didn't have to drive me. All this stuff was gonna happen in the morning that like I needed to get up and call my grandpa and tell him he didn't need to drive me. So about 9 or 9:30, I woke up and I remember smelling burning toast. And the only other person who was home that morning was my brother Teddy, my brother with autism that you've seen in a video or two. And because I knew my mom was at work, and my other brother that I grew up with like in the same house, he was away at school. So he wasn't there, and I knew my mom was at work. So I knew that it was just me and Teddy that were gonna be home that morning. And so when I woke up and I smelled burning toast, I just assumed Teddy was burning toast because he always made toast in the morning. That's like, he eats toast all the time. And so I just assumed he was burning toast. So I got up and I got out of my bed, and my mom's house is like a high ranch. So like, oh, my battery's dying, dang it. So half this video might be recorded later. But so it's one of those houses you walk up 6 stairs and then you either go up or you go down once you go inside. And then when you go up, to the left is the hallway. If you go straight is the kitchen, and to the right is the living room and dining room. And so the hallway where the bedrooms are. And so I started walking down the hallway and I saw people running up the stairs into the kitchen, because I was gonna go into the kitchen, obviously, to see if Teddy was burning toast and to call my grandpa because the phone was in the kitchen. And I saw people running up the stairs into the kitchen, and one of them saw me and was like, you're in the house? Very like surprised. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, well, get out. And I was like, why? And he's like, your house is on fire. And so I ran next door, and Teddy was there already, and my other neighbor was there. She was the one who saw the fire. And I had to call my mom, and she had to come home, and yeah, it was an electrical fire. Our attic fan went on fire. And so I didn't run through any flames. I didn't inhale any smoke. And sometimes I get nervous telling this story. I've told it a million times. Sometimes I get nervous telling it because people think, oh, well, you were physically fine. So why is that a trauma for you? And it's like, well, the way that it felt was that those people running in the house, who Teddy was already next door, so they got Teddy out. Those people running in the house didn't look for me. Like they were going into the kitchen, and I've told this story to so many people and so many therapists, and so many people are like, oh, well, maybe they got Teddy out and they were coming back for you. And I'm like, no, they were going into the kitchen. Like they weren't coming back for me. And they left me. And it doesn't matter if they thought I was at school. It doesn't matter if they thought that I wasn't home. It doesn't even matter if Teddy told them I wasn't home. If your house is on fire, like, you quadruple check, you scream, you make noise, you make sure that nobody's in the house. Like, they got the dog out. They got our dog out and they left me. And like I said, I was physically fine. And even after that, I just thought, like, oh, I was okay. And I still went and I took my math test and I got an 89. But it didn't hit me then, like, what actually happened. And with any PTSD type of, like, disorder, they generally kick in a few years later. So I spent high school a little bit different. I always made sure that I stood out. I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I didn't hook up with people. I was so different than everybody else I knew because I wanted to stand out, because I didn't want to be left in a fire again. And that's still, like, the way that I am right now. Like, I act so differently and I do everything I can to stand out from, like, the crowd, from everybody else that I know, everybody around me. Partially because I like it, partially because I like living my life the way I do, but partially because I don't want to be forgotten again. And I know that a bunch of you are going to be like, oh, well, no, they were going to come back for you, or they just didn't know you were there, or make all these excuses. But the fact is that with a trauma, it doesn't matter. Excuses don't matter. It matters what happened. It already happened. Even if I talked to those people today and they were like, oh, actually, there was one other person who was about to go get you, it wouldn't change. It wouldn't change it. It's already happened. And all the thoughts I've had because of it are already in my head. All of the emotions, all of, like, the I am worthless and I am abandoned and all of that it's already exists in my head. And I know that those people were not malicious. I know they didn't do it on purpose. It's why I don't like being home. It's why I don't like going to my mom's house. It's why I don't like Long Island. I have such, like, strong negative feelings from there. I know that it could have been worse. I understand that. But mentally, what it led to, the disorder that it led to me having, which isn't PTSD, weirdly enough. I have a little bit of PTSD. Like, I think about it all the time and I'm afraid of fire and stuff. But the actual disorder that it led to has ruined my adult life. It's why I don't function very well. My camera died. So what was I saying? I wanted to do this video to kind of say that traumas, it doesn't matter if people don't understand, or if people don't believe you, or if people don't think that they're a big deal. I remember having one person who was like, oh, well, you're physically fine, so that's good. And I'm like, no, you have no idea what being in a burning building does to your brain, especially at 13. Being that age is one of the worst times to have a trauma, because, like, puberty, it's like when you're growing and, like, learning about yourself. And I learned that I'm forgettable and pointless and should be left to die. And so trauma, it doesn't matter if people meant to do what they did. It doesn't matter if it was an accident or anything. It could still horribly affect you. I might do a part 2 to this video or do something else later, because this is gonna just die again. But thank you for watching. If you've had a trauma, like I understand, and I understand what it's like to have people maybe not understand. But I love you, Jesus loves you, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.